And you believe this prophecy refers to me?
Prophecies are dangerous things. I believe you have a role to play. As does another. The King in the North, Jon Snow.
What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon, and I'm back in the building with another Game of Thrones Season 8 video. And I am excited to tell you that in this video, I have a theory that has never been said before. No one has ever pointed this out, and it will blow your mind. I guarantee you. Please stay until the end of this video, because I'm telling you, you've never heard this before, and it may be the greatest theory that you've ever seen. And it's without a doubt 100% proof of how it's going to end for Daenerys Targaryen and Jon Snow. Because we know that no matter how many characters they have in Game of Thrones, and there's a lot of great ones that I like and you like, and that's what makes the story great, but it comes down to three things. That's Jon Snow, Daenerys Targaryen, and the White Walkers. How can they defeat the White Walkers' army? Because the Game of Thrones is really not important. It's all about this, and that's what we're going to talk about. Stick around till the end. But before I do, join the Teflon Nation by hitting that thumbs up button and subscribing and clicking that bell so you're notified every time I upload a future video. Now, when dealing with Jon Snow and Daenerys, as I said, I do believe the first episode showed us their fate, exactly what's going to happen to them. But before we go into that, I'm going to show you what happened in the last season, and that's with Melisandre, because she also spelled out the fate of Daenerys and Jon Snow. Now, the first thing we have to look at is the positioning of the people in this shot, how they have this shot framed. And we see Melisandre in what is Daenerys' throne room, waiting there for Daenerys and them, and Daenerys comes to her. And then we can see from this shot that Varys is all the way in the background, as far away from Melisandre as he can possibly be. But I think the one thing that is a giveaway of what's going to happen to Daenerys in this scene that many people has overlooked is that Melisandre is blocking Daenerys' path to the throne. She's in between her and that throne, and I think that means that she is not going to ever sit the Iron Throne because of what Melisandre is about to say right now.
What does your lord expect from me?
Bosses bantis amazis, merikivio dolalaris, os machagon contas.
The prince who was promised will bring the dawn.
So Melisandre begins to tell Daenerys about the prince who was promised prophecy. And who is that? Azor Ahai, the legendary hero who forged the red sword of heroes. And how did he do that? By stabbing his wife, Nissa, in the chest with this sword, making her soul go into the sword. And that's how they made the red sword of heroes. And that's what he used to defeat the others in the past.
I'm afraid I'm not a prince.
Your Grace, forgive me, but your translation is not quite accurate. That noun has no gender in High Valyrian, so the proper translation for that prophecy would be the prince or princess who was promised will bring the dawn.
Doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it?
No, but I like it better.
So Daenerys likes it better. What does she like better? She'd rather be the prince that is promised. She'd rather be the hero that brings the dawn. Because we know who Azor Ahai is, I just told you. There's only one other role to play in this part, and that is the role of Nissa.
And you believe this prophecy refers to me?
Prophecies are dangerous things. I believe you have a role to play. As does another. The King in the North, Jon Snow.
So Melisandre basically point blank spells this whole thing out for us right here in this scene with Daenerys. She tells her, do you think this refers to me? She says, I think you have a role to play, as does another. The King of the North, Jon Snow. This is what it is, people. I'm sorry to all Daenerys fans, but this is what it's shaping out to be, that Daenerys is playing the role of Nissa and Jon Snow is going to have to forge Lightbringer, and that means he's going to have to stab Daenerys in the chest with a sword, and that is going to burst into flames, and that will become the new Red Sword of Heroes. Another prophecy-based foreshadowing of this happening to Daenerys came in the House of Undying, when it says, 3 treasons you will know, once for blood, once for gold, and once for love. If you want my full version of this, I did a video on that over 4 years ago, and a more up-to-date version of that video a few months back. I will put the link to those videos in the description, but I believe that the treason for love is Jon Snow, which we have already seen bend the knee to Daenerys this last season.
Alright. Not done it. Now about my queen. I'd bend the knee, but
What about those who swore allegiance to you?
they'll all come to see you for what you are.
Now, George R. Martin said that there will be 3 major twists before this series is done. Number 1 was Shireen being burned. The next one we seen was Hodor hold the door. And the last twist is this one right here, that Jon Snow is going to stab and kill Daenerys to forge Lightbringer, the Red Sword of Heroes. Now, that has already happened in the past, right? So George R. Martin just isn't going to do the exact same thing. He's going to have to step it up a notch. That's this man's style. So what's he going to do? What can be worse than just stabbing your wife? Well, that means stabbing your pregnant wife and killing her and your unborn child to form the Red Sword of Heroes. And that is exactly what's going to happen this season. And that scene that I just showed you right there is a foreshadowing of this event. Because if we look at this scene real close right now, what does this look like? This looks like the exact scene of Jon Snow's birth. And this is no mistake. Jon Snow in the exact same spot that his mother was in. And we know exactly what happened to his mother. His mother died during childbirth. Now we know Jon's not going to die during childbirth. So this is going to be Daenerys. Alright? Now I'm going to blow your mind right now. Get ready for it. Now, in the first shot we see the hands holding here of Ned Stark and his sister. We see the same exact shot mirrored with Daenerys and Jon Snow in the scene when we see Jon Snow laying in the bed. Now, I told you this is going to be mind-blowing. I'm not lying to you. Trust me. And if this blows your mind when I'm about to show you, what I want you to do, if you can, is like this video and subscribe to this channel and put it in the comment section that you never heard this and never seen this before. Now, this is the ultimate proof that this is about to happen. At the Tower of Joy, we see Ned Stark put Sir Arthur Dayne's sword right in the light. Now, this sword is called Dawn, and many people, such as myself, believe that in the books especially, that this sword will be Azor Ahai's Lightbringer. This sword will be used to stab Nissa in the chest, and that is what will be used to forge and make the new Red Sword of Heroes. Now remember, this sword is Lightbringer. That's why it's shining in the light. And this sword was forged by being stabbed in the heart of Nissa. This is what's going to happen to Daenerys, and this is the proof right here. So we see Jon Snow laying in bed right here with the stab wound in his chest and Daenerys sitting over top of him. If we look right in the corner of this picture, we can see a sword right there in the background. Now, what I want you to focus on right now is this light that we see right in front of Jon Snow, because as the scene moves on, you can clearly see the light shine right over the sword, which should be the final indication for you to know that Daenerys is Nissa and Jon Snow is Azor Ahai, and he is going to forge the Red Sword of Heroes by stabbing his pregnant wife with this sword and killing her to save the world. That's what his sacrifice is going to be. That is what the bittersweet ending is going to be. And them shining the light on this sword is clear proof that points in a direction to let you know that this sword is just like Dawn, the sword of Sir Arthur Dane that we seen at Jon Snow's birth at the Tower of Joy. But that's not it, my people. I told you that I found proof in episode 1 that this was going to happen, and I wasn't just saying it to say it, and I'm not saying it to delay it to another video. I'm giving it to you in this one, and this is the proof that I found.
Suffolk beast.
There are no direwolves south of the wall.
Now there are 5. You want to hold it?
Where will they go? Their mother's dead.
How it started, it's how it's gonna end. You will see Jon Snow playing the role of the stag and Daenerys the role of the direwolf mother. And they're both dead, just like we see in this scene, but their children will live on and will be raised by Starks, and that will be Sansa Stark. That's what I think it means. Tell me in the comments what you think. Peace and stay sexy.